Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationships and it's by user Candy Corn is Nasty. I, 21 female, am getting tired of being around my fiance, 20 male. We have been together for 2 years. I will just get my frustrations out of the way since that's why I'm here. He is pretty immature. I have to remind him on a daily or weekly basis to clean his room. He stays with me and my parents, and to do chores around the house since he doesn't have a job. He moved in with us last year due to family issues with his dad. My parents have been more than welcoming, but they're getting pretty tired of him just laying around playing video games and not working. He does not have a diploma. He dropped out of high school because he did not want to repeat the senior year. Not his fault, it was the school's, and was terrified of what the other kids would think of him. He was supposed to get his GED back in 2019, but he quit due to accusations that could have ruined his life. He does not have his license and has made no effort to get it because he is waiting for his dad for the payments. He had a job at a fast food place but quit after 2 days because he had to do work he didn't like. He is studying again for his GED, but again I have to remind him. He is terrified of rejection and will do literally anything to prevent it if he thinks it's going to happen. He had broken up with me numerous times at the beginning of our relationship in fear of getting close to me. He broke up with me once because he didn't want to come to my house for dinner. Yes, that's incredibly immature, and I understand a lot of, if not most people, would have just blocked him everywhere and moved on. For whatever reason, I had a nagging feeling and wanted to be with him. He is very picky about therapists. They can't be too nice, too cheery, too angry, etc. It frustrates me because every single therapy has had some type of issue with their appearance or emotions. Being too happy, for example, and he'll stop going because of that. I need him to get help for his mental issues, but he always has an excuse. That's another thing. He has a reason for everything. I give him a solution to his problem that he asked for advice on. Nope, the solution doesn't work. Even if he's never tried it once in his life, he just knows it won't work, so it's not worth trying. He has friends that treat him like crap, and I tell him to knock it off or to simply block them, and he always gives me a reason why it won't work to stand up for himself and how it's just that way with them. It drives me up the wall, and at this point, I'm going to tell him to stop asking me for advice if all he's going to do is shoot me down every time I suggest something. He depends on his dad too much. I understand his dad is his only parent, but if you could see the way his dad treats him, it's disgusting. He is very neglectful and basically treats my fiance as trash. He has made many promises and has broken each one. He was supposed to pay for my fiance's GED classes and test, but decided to buy weed instead. He was supposed to take my fiance to take his permit test, but decided to lie and say he had to work when in reality he was at home watching TV. Each time I or my parents offered to buy the tests or take him to the DMV, he would decline because his dad would get mad. He is over 18. He needs to make decisions for himself without worrying about how his dad will feel. He can't get punished because he doesn't live there anymore, so... I feel awful writing this down. I dream of us getting married and having a family, but the dreams are beginning to turn to static. I am starting to have a lot of doubts. We have had multiple conversations this week about our relationship, and none of them have soothed my mind. I worry about him constantly and the possibility of his depression overtaking him. It is a great fear I've had since an incident 2 years ago. I'm sure you can guess. If not, I will clarify. I love him a lot. He is my entire world and I am happy to see him when I'm home from work. But now I'm starting to get resentful. My parents are constantly asking me why he doesn't study or have his license or why he's always playing, and it frustrates me. I know they're annoyed, believe me, they have every right to be, but this is every effing day. I can't take it anymore. I'm starting to disassociate at work and my mental issues are getting worse because of the constant worrying about my health, my fiance, and my parents. I really don't want to end the relationship. He told me he is going to try to get better with the chores and studying. I need to be patient. The last conversation about those topics was last night. My dad even told me that, but I just wish it was immediate. I wouldn't have to hear the complaints anymore. I'm worried for my mental health now because I'm at the point where I either want to have myself committed or drive off somewhere and not come back for a week. I won't do it because that's immature and will cause a lot of worries. Please, any advice? I'm just tired. I want to not be tired. I need to be patient with him and I'm trying my best. I'm sorry. Oh, OP, you don't need to end the relationship. This relationship has been over for some time now. I'm gonna say that the moment you decided that you weren't going to give him your opinion or any solutions anymore because he doesn't do anything about it means that you've checked out. You just don't care about him anymore. Because I would think it's from that moment on that every time he would have a complaint about anything, you would probably just roll your eyes and be like, yeah, whatever. So OP, like I said in the beginning, I think this relationship is already done. You just need to acknowledge it. Unfortunately, your boyfriend's issues, particularly his abandonment issues with his dad, are really big and you're not gonna be able to fix any of that. Your boyfriend needs professional help and he clearly doesn't want to get it. So you've done everything you can. You can't keep burning yourself out because of this. It's not fair to you and it's definitely not fair to your parents who apparently have been really nice to him. And what do you guys think about this whole situation, or what would you do if you were in OP's shoes? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. More Tea or Biscuits says, when you say you dream of us getting married and having a family, you do realize that in the dream it's a completely different version of this boyfriend you are imagining. Because being married to and having children with the person you described above will just lead to more of what you described above. There's no easier way to say it really. He's showing you who he is. You want him to be something different. It doesn't appear to be working out. You can choose to cope, put up with it, that's down to you. But making this out to be a problem by saying you need to be more patient and you are sorry, nope, do not do that. Pirate UES says, you are parenting him and it isn't healthy, and as you're clearly aware, it isn't sustainable. Your own struggles with this are enough to end it now, but since you don't want that, here's the plan. He has to want to get himself together, and unfortunately, he probably also needs to be forced to. Sit him down and explain what you need. Academic progress, responsibility for chores without reminding, a job, and put a timeline in place for it. You need a hard date where if he isn't progressing, your family no longer houses him. I'm sorry, but at this point, you aren't helping him, you're enabling him. It sucks, it really, really sucks that he didn't get the parenting he needed, but it is not your fault. You are setting yourself on fire to keep him warm. Stop. After you talk to him, you should consider also having a meeting together with him and your parents so you're all on the same page. There's no way around this situation sucking, but for your sake, you have to take care of yourself. Palabra Dot says, he's your world, but trust me, with the way he's acting, you really don't figure into his. Straight talk, he is not mature or even trying to be. He isn't ready for any type of marital relationship and you know this. Your parents probably want to tell you this isn't a good idea, but they're leaning towards let her learn. Actually, wait. No, they have told you. There is really no way to salvage this relationship on your end. Any fixing will be up to him, and clearly he likes the status quo that allows him to coast free of responsibility. He doesn't have any desire to take care of you now. Do you think he'll shape up once you have a ring on your finger? You need to let him go. You need to find someone worthy of you. He is not the one, dear. Deleted says, it's not normal to have to cope with a partner's immature behavior. Have you considered that the only reason you are staying in this relationship is that you are afraid to be alone or have some other hang-up? Like you slept together and now you think you have to marry him? Marriage does not fix these issues, and people fundamentally do not change from a romantic partner's pressure. You will have to parent this guy for his whole life while you see friends and family with happy, normal, give-and-take relationships around you. He will bring the same lack of effort and commitment to every area of your life together. Finances, child rearing, sex, commitment, etc. You have to break this off and deal with your own self for a while. Always Tired says, "You are not helping him. He won't buckle down and achieve those goals until he has no other choice." I know that might sound hard to believe, but it's like a lesson in a behavior modification class I took. Every behavior has a consequence. When it is rewarded, it doesn't even have to be an obvious positive result. My son seeks out negative attention sometimes. It will continue. He is not doing anything because he enjoys his living situation right now, and as others have said, is being enabled in a bad way. Alright, well, the community is pretty much aligned and on message on this. OP needs to leave this relationship. Nothing's gonna come out of it, at least nothing positive, they think. Now, unfortunately, OP didn't respond to any comments, so this means we move on straight to the update to see what happened next. But of course, before that, I gotta show you another playlist like this one right here, with only stories that have updates on them. Now let's move on to the update. I posted here over 2 weeks ago venting about my fiancé and his issues. Pretty sure all of you who commented here in agreement that we were both immature, especially him, and that staying with him would get me nowhere. We have broken up. Since I made the post, we had had many conversations about the relationship. I was clearly unhappy, and all he did was make excuses and promises that I knew he wouldn't keep. I decided to do some self-reflection and realized why I stayed with him. I wanted to fix him to feel better about myself. I wanted to feel better by making him feel better. I also felt I had put a lot of time and effort into the relationship. However, I knew it wouldn't matter because, in the end, nothing was going to change. Anyway, it went pretty well. He knew that it was coming and was prepared for it. We left on good terms, so I'm pretty happy about that. I wished him well and hoped he would make it through life okay. He said he hoped I would find somebody who treated me well and to live out my dreams. I felt myself stop being in love with him. I love him, but more in a caring way. My romantic feelings for him were gone weeks ago, and I didn't want to admit it to myself. Thank you all for kicking me in the ass and telling me to get the F out. I need to start caring about myself for a change. The self-reflection did a lot to help me, and I believe more sessions with my psychologist would be beneficial as well. Good luck to you all. Smiley face. Alright, well, this sounds like a positive and happy update. You guys parted in good ways, and each of you are going to move on with your life. Fantastic, OP. That's awesome. Or at least I thought. But then I saw that OP had given us one more post on a different subreddit. So let's finish our story with that. And this post is from the subreddit 2X Chromosomes, and of course it's from the same OP. I'm being harassed over my new relationship. I broke up with him over a month ago. He was lazy, unmotivated, a moocher, and abusive. He threatened to end his life every time I mentioned I was unhappy in the relationship, and a bunch of other things. Long story short, I found myself unhappy and uninterested in the relationship after some self-reflection. I tried to break up with him multiple times, each time ending with him threatening something. I eventually packed up his crap and dropped it off at where he was staying. We originally ended on good terms, but when he found out I was starting to have feelings for someone else, he told me he hated me. He is now telling everybody that I cheated on him and his friends are harassing me. They're sending me messages, calling me names, insulting my boyfriend and trying to insult me, and I'm getting tired of it. My ex claims he had been cheated on before, and honestly, I can see why. I don't condone cheating ever, don't misunderstand me. Holy crap though, he was and still is a lying, manipulative a-hole. He claims he's trying to move on, but lets his friends continue to harass me. My friends and family know what actually happened, as we all have documented evidence from over the length of the relationship that proves he was mentally and verbally abusing me. I'm just getting annoyed with the harassment. If you're wondering why he's saying I cheated, it's because I moved on pretty fast from the breakup. Remember, I was already uninterested in being in the relationship weeks before I finally kicked myself in the ass and ended it. I got over my other ex of 2 years within 2 days. I just move on fast, I guess. Is that a bad thing? Am I supposed to be an emotional mess over the loss of an abusive relationship? What kills me is he said I cheated on him because he heard the way I laughed with my current boyfriend. What does that even mean? We were friends at the time and we usually only talked when our mutual friends was there. I guess that means he cheated too since he laughed with his friends all the time. I don't even know. Anyway, I needed to vent more than anything. I moved out of the city we both lived in and feel a lot better. I am thousands of miles away from him. I don't feel uncomfortable going outside anymore. He really freaked me the F out. I always thought he was going to hit me because of his severe anger issues. And that's it. That was the last word written by OP regarding this story. So I guess all that's left to say is, OP, I hope that wherever you are doing great. Take care and thank you so much for sharing with us. Now, let's finish this video with a mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance and it's by user Competitive Chapter 4. Can't throw away a small box because it'll fill up the trash can? Fine, I'll just clean my truck out. For a little context, I'm a construction worker with my own company truck. As far as from what I've seen in my area, most people with company trucks have this thing where the front two seats always stay very clean, aside from dirt that comes from working in my field of work. The back seats, however, are a different story. It is amazing how much trash gets thrown back there, whether it be water bottles, snack wrappers, food wrappers, etc. My company has a contract with a local detailer that comes and washes and vacuums all company trucks bi-weekly to keep the appearances up. We are just responsible for removing all large trash, so they don't have to do much work. Usually, we just throw out everything at the dumpster at the shop before the dealer goes in and works his magic. Anyways, on to this story. So, today I had just finished up a service call and was about to go on my lunch break. I had stopped at a local gas station near downtown Austin to pour gas right before I headed off to get some tacos. As I'm pouring gas, I look in the back of my tailgate and realized I forgot to throw away a box at the job site and didn't want to run the risk of it flying out and possibly causing an accident. So naturally, I decided to take it out, break the box down, and toss it in the trash can at the pump. Now, the box itself wasn't too big, about the size of a shoebox, and once broken down, it was probably about a quarter of that size. As I took the broken down box and placed it in the trash, one of the ladies who worked at the gas station came out furious, saying I wasn't allowed to throw away that box. She claimed that trash was only for smaller items and we weren't allowed to throw away larger things. I was really confused and told her that it really wasn't all that big and I didn't see an issue. She then argued that the cardboard can unravel and fill up the bin and then she would have to replace the bags. I didn't feel like arguing, so I just obliged and took out the box and placed it back in the tailgate. She thanked me for not being so difficult and was about to go into the gas station before I stopped her and asked, "So then, what can I throw away in the trash?" She replied with anything small like water bottles, taco bags, wrappers, etc. Now, cue the Malicious Compliance. After she said that, I thanked her for letting me know and proceeded to open the back door to my truck and she got a hold of all the mess. I then proceeded to take out small loads of empty water bottles, taco bags, etc. It is truly amazing how much trash builds up in these construction trucks. Unless one had been recently cleaned out, I have never seen one with little to no mess. I think I'm pretty good at tossing the stuff out of my truck, but every 2 weeks when I submit my truck for cleaning, it always baffles with me how much mess is in there. I then proceed to stuff the trash can with trash and fill it up. Now, granted, these trash cans already had trash in them and weren't all that big, and I didn't really press down the trash to make more fit. I then proceeded to move to the next trash can and started filling that one up, all while looking at her with the biggest smirk on my face. She then proceeded to tell me that I can't be throwing out that much stuff because it was only meant for small things that I bought from the store. I then proceeded to show her that almost all this stuff can be bought at the store she was working at. She then screams at me saying there's no way I bought everything there and that I probably got some from other places as well. I then pulled out my company gas card that was from her gas station and told her that this was the only gas station that I'm allowed to use while in this vehicle. So yes, I come to this store a lot since it's right by my job and most of this, other than the taco wrappers, come from here. She then proceeded to call me an a-hole and a few other names as she stormed off into the store. I just sat there with such a huge feeling of accomplishment, knowing that I dealt with that carrying accordingly. If she would have just let me throw out the small box, you wouldn't have to come out and replace the trash bags right now and could be sitting inside on your phone, but now you gotta come out and do the job you're getting paid to do. It must suck to actually have to do what you were hired to do. All because you thought some small pieces of cardboard could fill up one little trash can. Little words of advice: next time, mind your own business. Well, OP, that's just weird, because you were just using the trash can like you were told it had to be used. That's it, really. Thank you for sharing, OP. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out, so here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later, and also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.